Welcome to today's installment of The Benefits of Being an Octopus by Anne Braden. We're picking up today on page 228. There are only 254 pages in this book, so we're really getting close to the end. Probably just 2, maybe 3 more readings before we've finished it. So hopefully you're enjoying Zoe's story and are looking forward to finding out what happens as much as I was when I read it the first time. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, and we're starting now.
The back seat is completely quiet until we pull into the parking spot next to the trailer. Until I hear Bryce ask in a small voice, "Are Lenny and Frank going to move to the apartment with the kitty too?" "No," I say. "They're not." "Oh, okay," he says. "And you can't tell them that we're moving," my mom adds, "okay? Not a word about this." "So it's going to be a surprise for them?" Bryce asks. "Yeah," she mutters, something like that. I'm right behind my mom when she walks up to the door to the trailer, and all I can think is, please don't be home yet, please don't be home yet. My mom must be having the same thoughts because she's slowing down. It's like the door handle is covered with poison and she doesn't want to have anything to do with grabbing hold of it and opening the door. "It's okay. It's going to be okay," I whisper. "If Lenny's at home, just blame it on me. I wanted to take care of my friend." My mom closes her eyes, and we just wait for another day to pack up and move out. But then she sucks in her breath, and I realize she's holding back tears. "It's going to be okay," I repeat. I wrap my arms around her just as firmly as she used to wrap her arms about me when she'd tell me things were going to be okay. She bows her head, squeezing her eyes shut. "Now that I can see the way out, I want out," she whispers. "I just want out." I grab hold of the door handle. We'll make sure that this is the last time we ever have to walk in this door. I push open the door and walk inside. All I can hear is the TV. Lenny and my mom's bedroom door is open, and I peek in. No Lenny. Around the corner, I find Frank in his recliner. "Has Lenny come back yet?" I ask over the noise of the TV. "Does it look like he did?" Frank calls back without looking away from the TV. I turn around to find my mom close behind me. "We need to go fast," I whisper. She must be thinking the same thing because she turns on the spot, grabs a trash bag from the kitchen, and disappears into her bedroom. "Come on, Bryce and Aurora, let's go. We're going to clean up our room together, okay?" Aurora practically skips into the bedroom, shouting, "It's gonna be a surprise!" I grab a couple more trash bags and head into the bedroom after her. "Come on, Bryce," I call. He's still trying to get his winter boots off without using his hands. "Why do we have to hurry so much?" he asks when he finally appears at the door. "We just do." I'm stuffing things into a bag at lightning speed. I pull the Mickey Mouse nightlight out of the wall. Think of it as a race. "Petunia," Aurora is saying to her sea turtle, "we're gonna get to go live with a kitty!" My mom pokes her head into our room. She's got Hector on her hip. "I'm going to run over to the pizza pit and borrow Connor's car." She's talking super fast. "As soon as I get back here with it, you've got to be ready to go. I'm going to leave Hector here with you. Can you get the car seats out of Lenny's car before then?" I nod. "Okay, we'll be ready. Go." My mom looks at me for an instant and then sets down Hector on the floor. I'm going to leave my bag outside by the trash cans, but it's not trash. Then she's gone. Bryce starts play fighting with a lightsaber and just barely misses Aurora. "Bryce, put that down and start packing your things into this bag, okay?" I finish throwing the rest of Aurora's clothes into a bag and I start in on Bryce's to help him. "Can we bring this lamp with us?" Bryce asks. "I really like this lamp." "It's not ours, Bryce. I'm sorry." I grab clothes from off the floor. We'll figure out what's dirty later. "But it's in our room," Bryce says. I cram Bryce's sandals from last summer into the bag. Not that anyone can imagine wearing sandals when it's February. I'm sure there's already a lamp at Fuchsia's apartment. When did he start liking that lamp? I stand up, tie the 2 big bags shut, and pick up Hector. "I'm going to bring these outside and get the car seats ready. You put anything else that's ours in that last bag, and I'll be back to get it in a few minutes." Outside, Aurora's booster seat is easy to detach, but the base of Hector's big hulking car seat is a different story. It's like the release button on it is not an actual button, but is instead just a different colored piece of plastic that has no intention of releasing anything, and really wonders about why you keep punching it in the face. I'm still wrestling with the car seat when I hear my mom pull up at the curb. She better be able to get this thing out of here. But when I finally extricate myself from the back seat and stand up, I see it's not my mom. It's Lenny getting dropped off by Slider. "Oh, hi," I say. I can feel my hand instantly start to shake. "What are you doing in my car?" he asks as Slider drives away. I force a smile. "Just trying to fix Hector's car seat. It was getting too loose." He sticks his head in the driver's side. He's looking at the odometer. "So where'd you go?" "What do you mean?" I keep trying to jab at the car seat button because it's even harder when your hand won't stay still. Someone drove 3.7 miles since I left. You know anything about that?" "Oh, it was because of my friend. She was having a really rough time and I made my mom drive me over to see her." Lenny raises an eyebrow at me. Maybe he does suspect something's up. "Well, it was just 3.7 miles, right?" I say. "I mean, she was having a really tough time." "So you needed to pat her on the shoulder while she has a cry fest about a boy? Just don't use up my gas to do it." Lenny is putting on his nice face for me, but I can tell that underneath the gears are starting to turn. He slams the car door shut and then looks back at me. "What's up with all those trash bags?" "Oh, those." I try to keep breathing. "We were doing a lot of cleaning," but then I trail off, mostly because Bryce and Aurora have appeared on the stoop, and Bryce is still holding the lamp. Lenny's nice face is gone. "What's going on?" Aurora's eyes go all big. "It's a surprise! There's a kitty!" He turns to me. "What's she talking about?" "Oh, she's just really excited about cats these days," I say quickly. "I think she's starting to have an imaginary friend. But don't worry, there aren't any actual cats in the trailer." Lenny turns to Bryce. "What are you doing with that lamp?" Bryce looks terrified. He puts it down on the stoop like lamps always live on stoops. "Nothing." Mom drives up to the curb in Connor's old Subaru, her face gray with fear. She comes to a stop, but the engine is still going. "What in God's name is going on?" Lenny shouts. "Please don't drive off without us." "We didn't want to leave the trash out in front of the trailer all week until the garbage truck comes," I say. I grab as many of the trash bags as I can and hurl them into the trunk of Connor's car. "But we didn't want to put any more miles on your car, so my mom borrowed a car from someone else so we could make this trip to the dump before it closes at 5 p.m. I walk back over to Lenny's car like I know what I'm doing, and even though everything inside me has turned to goo, I jam my thumb into the car seat button like I mean it. It finally releases and lets me haul the car seat out of the car. With my other arm, I grab Hector from where he's been playing on the back seat with a seatbelt and head for Connor's car. Lenny's face is shifting to a deep shade of red. "Whose car is that?" "Let's go, Bryce and Aurora. We've got to go," I call. "To the dump," I add, praying that they don't hear that part and decide not to come. "Whose car is that?" Lenny yells again, but he doesn't even wait for an answer. He's barreling up the stairs and into the trailer to see for himself what's inside and what isn't. Bryce and Aurora pile down the stairs right past him. I pull open the back seat door, hurl in the car seat, pluck Hector into it, and thread the seatbelt through as quick as I can. I may be goo on the inside, but octopuses are basically made of goo, and I've got all 8 tentacles in motion. Aurora is suddenly filling the back seat with chants of "Kitty, kitty, kitty, kitty." Bryce has thankfully left the lamp on the stoop and appears with Aurora's booster seat that I left lying on the ground. I buckle them both in practically at the same time. I am a full-on octopus. I squeeze out the opposite door and climb into the passenger seat next to my mom, who's still frozen at the wheel. But as soon as I do, I see Lenny coming toward us, gripping the lamp in one hand. "Whose car is that?" My mom's knuckles are white from gripping the steering wheel. His eyes, he's shaking, but he's just a screaming monkey. I put my hand on my mom's and squeeze. "Drive, Mom," I say. "Drive now." And then, just like she used to, my mom slams down on the accelerator and we shoot down the road. There's a muffled crash as the lamp is thrown right into the side of the car. That wasn't our lamp anyway. Chapter 27. Our first stop is the courthouse to file for the emergency protective order. The process takes a long time, but when my mom calls Connor at the restaurant to see if he needs his car back, I can hear him through the phone, insisting that we darn well better keep the car as long as we need it, and that if we try to bring it back too soon, he'll refuse to take the keys. And then when my mom finally gets in front of the judge, he immediately issues the protective order. Just like that. My mom takes an extra copy of the paperwork she had to fill out, and the first thing she does when we get to Crystal's apartment is put it down on the kitchen table. "You should do this too. For you and for Fuchsia." "Let's just remember that I'm the one who's letting you stay in my apartment," Crystal says, glaring at my mom. I didn't say anything about letting you be the boss of me. Still, when my mom's not looking, I catch Crystal folding up the forms and stowing them in the back pocket of her jeans. Fuchsia is out somewhere, but Jane Kitty is still around, and Aurora disappears into the bedroom after her. Bryce won't let go of my leg. I keep rubbing his back. My mom turns to me. I'm going to drive Connor's car back to the pizza pit and stay on for my dinner shift. Can you? She trails off and looks at Bryce. I'll get us all settled in, I say. But can I have some money so we can get something for dinner? My mom takes out the stack of ones out of her pocket and counts out $5 for me. Then she plunks a bunch of it down on the table for Crystal. For rent, she says. Crystal counts it and then pockets it. Better than nothing. My mom hands me Hector and heads out, and I look up to find Crystal eyeing me. This place isn't baby-proofed, you know, she says. I nod. I'll just watch him real well to make sure he doesn't get into anything. It's so awkward to still be standing near the door, but there's only one chair and Crystal is sitting in it. And it's not like I can move with Bryce suctioned onto me. Was this really my idea? Bryce tugs at my jeans and whispers, "Where are we gonna sleep?" I glance at Crystal. If she heard his question, she's not showing it. Well, I start, it'll probably be more crowded than before. Bryce looks around at our trash bags of stuff that are lined up in front of the sink, and then he bursts into tears. Bryce, I say. I detach him from my leg so I can kneel down and wrap my free arm around him. Hector squirms out the other side of me. And even though I just said I would keep a close eye on him, I don't chase after him. Instead, I wrap my other arm around Bryce too. And I don't even bother to ask him what's wrong, because what's the point? What isn't wrong? Hector is crawling toward the radiator. He'll find out soon enough that it's hot, and he won't want to touch it again. Just don't start licking the lead paint. It's too bad we didn't have time to grab his Extra saucer. There isn't much in the kitchen to distract him with. Bryce is sobbing so hard that I feel his wet tears through my shirt, and I hug him harder. I'm right here, Bryce, I whisper. I'm always going to be right here. Bryce's whole body shudders with sobs. His head is buried in my shoulder, and I try to rest my head on his, but instead he pulls away to look at me. But it's... He gulps with the force of a sob before he can say anything more. But it's... His eyes are so scared. But it's not here, he finally cries, waving frantically at the 3 trash bags in a line. The last trash bag. It had my lightsaber in it. I close my eyes. Oh, Bryce, I'm so sorry. And I need that lightsaber, he cries. I need it, I need it, I need it. He buries his face back into me again. We'll find you another one, I murmur into his hair. Don't worry. I look around to see Hector sitting happily on the linoleum floor, playing with some takeout containers. Then another container is dropped right in front of him, and I realize Crystal has been washing them out in the sink and giving them to him. Her face is hard to read, but she doesn't look annoyed. More like curious. But I need it. Bryce is still whimpering into my shoulder. I need it, his chest shudders, to fight off the bad guys. My breath catches in my throat. I grab Bryce by the shoulders and hold him so I can see his face. You don't need your lightsaber anymore. You're safe from the bad guys here, okay? Do you understand me? You're safe. Bryce is watching me with his puffy red eyes like he doesn't believe me. You're safe here, I repeat, and I pull him back into my chest. And no one here is going to tell you not to cry when you're sad. A few minutes later, Fuchsia comes through the door. She's a bit out of breath. I found an extra mattress down in the basement, but I need help getting it up the stairs. I release Bryce and follow Fuchsia down the stairs to help. I'm sure I'll get used to these stairs. Zoe? I look up to see Bryce watching from the landing. Yeah, I say. Did Fuchsia find that mattress just for us? Yeah, buddy. I think she did. Bryce bites his lip and nods, and then heads back into the apartment. Fuchsia calls to me from the bottom of the stairs. Zoe, are you coming? Yep, on my way. On Monday morning, I take the bus with Fuchsia. We don't talk much. She's never been much of a morning person, and I still haven't gotten much sleep, based on the fact that Bryce is still waking up from nightmares, and when I try to get back to sleep, my mom and Hector are somehow always taking up most of the bed. I guess the last time she and I shared a mattress with a baby, that time it was Bryce, I was smaller. It's weird that Fuchsia isn't waiting for me at my locker. She had mumbled something about going to the nurse and had disappeared as soon as we got into school. Maybe she didn't sleep well the last 2 nights either. I don't know if she's much of a fan of having to share a bed with Crystal, but she insisted that Bryce and Aurora could use hers. Still, it works out that she's not leaning against the locker next to mine since somebody decorated it up and down with Valentine hearts. I guess today is Valentine's Day. I stuff my jacket into my locker and head into homeroom. Inside, everyone's in a tizzy over who got carnations from whom and how many. Miss Popularity, Savannah Bobbins, is at her desk surrounded by most of the homeroom. Hold on, I lost count again. I have to start all over. And we'll stop right there. Okay, Google, stop.